there are four shapes in particular that you need to be familiar with when we talk about area and perimeter. The first of those shapes, which is the easiest, is a rectangle. Now, dealing with rectangles is relatively easy and most people don't find it tricky at all. However, there are two big mistakes that people usually make. The first is confusing area and perimeter. The area of a shape is how many small square tiles it would take to completely cover the inside of that shape. The perimeter, however, is the distance all the way around the edge of the shape. So for a rectangle, if you're finding the area, you simply multiply the length of the rectangle by its width. So in this case, 8 times 5, which equals 40. The second problem that people make is they forget the units. The units of area would be centimetres squared, or metres squared for example, whereas perimeter would be just centimetres. To get the perimeter of a rectangle, you simply add all of the lengths going around the outside. Now usually they'd only give you 2 of them, because the top side in this rectangle, which is 8 centimetres, is the same as the bottom side. The right hand side, which is 5, is also the same as the left hand side. So we would add 8 and 5 and 8 and 5 again, which gives you 26 centimetres. The second shape you'd need to work with is a triangle. It's unlikely that you'd be asked to find the perimeter of a triangle. This would be quite an easy question. However, you may get asked to work out the area. The area of a triangle is a bit like the area of a rectangle, with one extra step. The formula is the base times the perpendicular height, then divide by 2. The word perpendicular means at right angles, so you need to find a base and then a height that's at right angles to the base. So in the first triangle here, it's already at right angles because it's a right angle triangle. So the base is 10, the height is 7, so we do 10 times 7 is 70. And then the second step is to half this, so 70 divided by 2 is 35, and again, centimetres squared. This second triangle, however, is a little bit more difficult. There are 2 heights given to us. One of those heights is trying to catch us out, one of them is the perpendicular height. Now the base is 7, so the height, which is perpendicular to this at right angles, is 4. So we do 7 times 4, which is 28, and then once again, half this, 28 divided by 2, which is 14. Now the units this time are metres squared, because the question uses metres rather than centimetres. The third shape you need to be able to find the area of is a parallelogram. Now parallelograms are actually a lot like rectangles that have just been given a push. If you imagine placing the following red line in, chopping off the triangle from the right hand side, it would fit neatly on the left hand side to complete a rectangle. This means that the formula for a parallelogram is very similar to that of a rectangle. So you need to find the length and the width, or in this case a base and a height. Now much like triangles, it's very important that you use the perpendicular height, so the height that's at right angles and goes straight up. So in this case the 7 on the left is trying to trick us, whereas we need the actual height, which is 5. So you would do simply 10 times 5, which is 50 centimetres squared. The final shape you need to work with is a trapezium. To find the area of a trapezium, there are 4 steps. They can be quite difficult to remember, so I've wrote them down for you. First of all, you need to find the parallel sides. Now parallel sides are 2 lines that are straight and that would never meet. In this case, it's the top side, 7, and the bottom side, 11. The next thing you do once you've found those is add their lengths together. So for this one, 11 plus 7 equals 18. The third thing to do is divide the answer that you just got by 2. In this case, that gives you 9. And finally, you multiply by the height. So the height in this one is 8 centimetres, because once again, that's the perpendicular height. The 10 is up on an angle. So 9 times 8 equals 72 centimetres squared. If you'd like to watch this video again, click on the hexagon. If you'd like the answers to the questions, click on the pentagon.